plaintiff, Keisha Dorsey, says the defendant is her aunt, and because of her, Keisha and her 2 young children are about to be homeless. Keisha rented an apartment from the defendant, and she claims after the defendant illegally evicted her, she dumped all of Keisha's belongings in the driveway. So she's suing. Defendant Stella Tillman says Keisha is a drug addict, and Stella claims that all of her children were born with drugs in their systems, and as a result, 5 of them were placed in state's custody. Stella's countersuing for rent and damages.
Start with you.
Okay, this is my auntie, and because of her, I'm on the verge of being homeless. I have a 3-year-old and 4-month-old. She didn't care that I had children. She kicked us out of our home. She's been known to do things like this.
She's lying.
You were renting from her?
She's lying.
No, I wasn't.
Why?
I wasn't renting from her.
How was she able to kick you out?
Okay,
She lying. She ain't never had nowhere to stay.
What's that?
I had got an apartment. She called my father, and she had said that her son, which is on her side, was moving out. He wanted a bigger place for when his brother came home.
She's always been homeless.
Ma'am, one more time, because you're starting to act ignorant. You keep interrupting, and I want to talk to her. I've told you to be quiet. Please don't make yourself look ignorant. Okay?
You go ahead on.
You look pretty dignified when you came in here. I said, oh, okay, these are 2 sisters. They're going to be very dignified and good. Good to see that. It presents a good image from the time we got started. No, you didn't. All right, so go ahead.
First of all, Your Honor, my niece is playing a victim because she claimed to be a recovering addict.
That is,
She claimed to be a recovered addict, and if she was a recovering addict, she would be able to manage her own life, or either to pay her bills or be accountable. She haven't been able to do that since I known her. Okay, she lost her children to the system.
When?
From day one, from first child.
From the time they were born?
Yes.
All, how many?
That's a lie.
She has at least 5 kids in the system.
Each one, when they were born, she lost them immediately?
Yes, couldn't even bring them home with her.
That's a lie. That's a lie, Your Honor. I didn't lose my kids until the 8th of December, and it wasn't due to no 08.
And that was your first time?
Yeah, that was my very first time. And it wasn't due to anything that I did. I was dating someone that did an accident.
Abusive?
Yeah,
okay.
Basically.
And so they removed because of that. All right.
That's what ended me back with my dad. Why she said I didn't pay rent. That's why I went back to my dad to get a restraining order against him, and I moved back with my dad. And my kids are with me now.
Did you know any of this, or you don't believe she's telling the truth?
First of all, she continued to use drugs today. All her kids was born with drugs in their system.
That is a lie.
She was using drugs while she was pregnant with her children.
Let her finish, ma'am.
She ain't never worked a day of her life. She sell food stamps to support her living. She steals inside of stores.
Let me hear from you, ma'am.
Okay, she called my father and she said that he was moving into another place. So she said she wanted me to pay the deposit. I had the money at the time.
Her son had an apartment.
Yes.
That he was renting.
Yes.
And she called your father.
Yes.
And said to your father.
Yes.
That her son was moving out.
Yes.
And asked if you wanted to sublet
if
it.
anyone needed a place. It wasn't.
And then what?
Then he said, yeah, my daughter needs a place. So I got the phone, we talked, we discussed that I would give her $500 and began paying the rent. This is February. I talked to the manager in March. He said after I paid the rent in March, it would be transferred into my name. That never happened. So here April comes, the rent gets paid. Here comes May.
Did you pay March?
Yes.
Okay.
And April. And May.
Okay.
Okay, May comes, this is the 8th. She comes to my father's house. I was getting ready for a graduation party for my son. She comes to my father's house and says, it's not working out. My son's moving back home. I need the keys. I'm like, I'm not giving you my keys. She came, and I have pictures. She dumped everything that I had in the driveway.
Let's see it, please. And that was approximately what date, or do you know the specific?
That was exactly the 9th. The 9th of May, yes.
And how did she get in?
I guess she had a key.
You assume she had a key from her son?
Yes.
All right, because she's the one that called you?
Yes.
And said, my son wants to move back in. So
Yes.
she was handling all her son's business.
Exactly.
All right, good enough. And you came home and your things were out. When you spoke with her, what did she say?
I really didn't get a chance to speak with her. She didn't speak with me.
All right. And that's the emotional distress part as well?
That's part of it, but it's not just that. My children, she came 3 days ago, snapping pictures at my father's house.
From now? 3 days?
3 days from today.
Yeah, from today.
From today. She came to my father's house snapping pictures, saying that she was going to use these pictures for either CPS or the police. I wasn't there. I was out getting evidence together.
Well, how do you know she did it?
Because my father and everybody in the house, which I have witness statements.
Say they saw her taking pictures?
Yes.
Okay.
And which
Maybe she was
said.
going to use them to bring to court today, but you said she told them that she was taking them to report you to CPS.
Yes.
And you're saying that her report was going to be, she has children who are homeless.
Yes.
That was what she was probably going to report. But did she?
No, not that I know of.
All right. Your hotel costs
$188.
for your entire stay as a result of being evicted and what you believe to be an illegal eviction.
Yes.
All right. Ma'am?
I was feeling sorry for her. I was feeling sorry for her because she was able to keep 2 of her children out of all the ones she lost. I felt deep sympathy, and I thought I'd give her the opportunity. She told me that she can't afford to pay for the place.
She said she could?
She showed me, and she said that she could afford to pay for the place. My brother stated that, I mean, he backed her up. He said, yeah, please give it to Keisha. I would never give a place to Keisha. Every time I called, he said, Keisha. I said, no way I would give a place to Keisha.
At some point you said, yes, way.
Yes, I gave her, I gave Keisha
That's what we want
a
to talk
chance.
about. That's what we want to talk about.
Yes, so I gave her a chance to stay into the place, although she used drugs.
What was the agreement?
The agreement is that Keisha would pay part of the rent. She would pay $450 a month for the rent.
And who was the agreement with?
She made it with me, verbally.
Are you on the lease?
I am the co-signer. I co-signed for that place.
Thank you. Your name Muhammad Al-Nasuri?
No.
That's the only name on here.
Well, the thing is that...
No thing is. No. Ain't no thing is. You told me you co-signed, and you handed this to me. When I said, show me where you co-signed, this is what you handed to me, and your name is not on it. So explain this.
Okay.
Why you doing so much criticism of her life?
Okay,
Explain,
I'm going to
lying
explain
to a
it.
judge.
I rented this place from my son.
No. Explain why you just told me that you were handing me something showing that you were a co-signer, and it doesn't. Explain that.
Okay.
Then maybe I'll believe a kernel of what you said about this woman.
Okay.
If not, I don't believe nothing you said.
Okay, I don't have nothing to state.
I know you don't.
I do not have nothing to state.
All right, so we got the first lie out the way.
Okay.
What else you want me to know?
I allowed Keisha to stay into the house because I made a verbal agreement with the landlord that I would be responsible for
You
whoever.
believe that verbal agreement means sign, co-sign? Sign, by definition, means right. Did you know that?
Well,
Did
yes,
you know that?
Yes, I understand
So we don't have to talk about anything verbal because
Okay.
once again,
Well,
you did not co-sign.
Only reason they was allowed to move into the house is that I stated that I would be responsible for the apartment. I put my word up that apartment would be taken care of with nobody abuse
What do you want to
it,
say,
and he
ma'am,
won't
about
lose.
what do you want to say about evicting her?
Well, the apartment was in my son's name, Elijah. This is the first apartment Elijah ever had. And we was letting Keisha stay there on the ground that she was going to...
He. You had nothing to do with it. You had no legal rights to this apartment. We've already gotten that out of the way. You thought you did.
Well, why am I here?
I don't know.
She brought me here.
We'll find out. Why are you suing her?
Because she was the one who threw my things out.
You understand now? Are you clear?
Okay.
All right. Tell me about throwing her things out.
Well, Keisha she failed to pay the rent in the apartment over and over and over. I came out of my own pocket to pay the rent.
Got that. Tell me what occurred with you throwing her things out.
What happened was the month came the first day of the month for Keisha to pay the rent, and Keisha refused to pay. The landlord was on my cell phone all morning from 5 o'clock
Tell
that
me
morning.
about you going and throwing her things out. I don't want to hear anything else because you had no legal right to enter into that property, let alone throw her things out. What did you do?
Okay, I went in that evening when the landlord
What evening?
called
The evening of what?
The 9th.
And did what?
And I talked to the landlord.
Not talking about that anymore. I want to know what you did to get in.
He gave me the keys. He was there. He took the keys. He opened up his apartment. He said he wanted her stuff.
And you went in and did what?
He said he wanted her stuff
You
out.
went in and did what?
I removed her stuff
You
from
have
the
no
house.
legal right. Judgment for the plaintiff. Whatever happened after that, you're to blame for it. Your claim is dismissed. You had absolutely no legal right to go in there. I don't care what the landlord told you.
Right.
You were not a co-signer, and you tried to perpetrate a fraud and tell me you were. You handed me this document and said, see, I'm on there as a co-signer. You lied through your teeth, through your grinning teeth. You lied. You lied on this woman about having every single one of her children taken away from her from the day each one was born, hurting her reputation severely. I do not believe it one bit. You've proven to be the liar, and I believe you. Judgment for the plaintiff. Your claim is dismissed.
Keisha is a liar.
I'm just happy about the decision because it was the right one.
And I'm glad that she was able to get some money because this is how she make a living.
This is the very first time I've ever sued anybody, and I just refused to lay down why she just did me any kind of way. She does this to the family all the time. I'm just the one to step up.
She's not even part of the family. She's adopted.
Now I'm not.
You are
now I'm not
adopted
part
daughter.
of the family.
She's adopted daughter to my son. She ruined everybody's life.